Welcome back to Seattle, Washington. Detlef Schrempf, an NBA star with the one-time Seattle Supersonics. He played here in the late 90s. Part of the tradition, as the 12th man, he will hoist the flag, and the fans will become more involved in this game.
Tell you, the electricity, Chris, of this venue, I think, for an outdoor stadium, and you said it, I think it's unmatched around the NFL. What a great atmosphere.
Like a Roman emperor atop NFL royalty in Seattle, the Vikings won the coin toss. They won the football, and Percy Harvin back to receive. Stephen Hauska, week 9, Vikings and Seahawks is underway. And through the end zone, Vikings will take over at the 20-yard line. And Christian Ponder in his second year, 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, struggling as of late. Vikings started out 4-1, now they're 5-3.
It's been about the mistakes for sure for him. They have got to get Kyle Rudolph going in this game, the tight end. He has been cold of late. Matt Khalil, the rookie, has played well. What a matchup against these speed rushing ends. Combine that with the crowd noise. It's going to be a big challenge for the rookie left tackle.
The NFL's leading rusher, Adrian Peterson, fighting to get to the 25-yard line. And going up against a Seattle defense that is giving up just about 17 points a game.
Number 3 in the NFL. Great tacklers, as I said in the open. You know, AP does lead the league in rushing, also leads the league in run yards after contact. Bobby Wagner will have a big challenge, the rookie right in the middle of that defense. And then the big corners. How do they do against that speed, especially Percy Harvin with the shallow crossing routes?
Peterson. First down. Peterson. There goes Adrian Peterson. All the way down around the 1-yard line, Brandon Browner saved a Viking touchdown, 74 yards.
Couple of things. Watch Alan Branch get upfield. Just talked about yards after contact for Adrian Peterson. Alan Branch has got him in the backfield. Boom, shakes that one off. Gets a good block from Brandon Fusco, his right guard. Look at that wicked cut. Back against the grain. Awesome. Awesome talent.
He had a 64-yard touchdown run against Tampa Bay a week ago Thursday. Ponder has it. And gets rid of it. It'll be 2nd and goal, Vikings. Christian Ponder, very athletic. Had nothing to go to.
No, and he wanted to go to the big extra lineman, the jumbo package. Watch Jeff Schwartz out there. He's going to get out and run an out route, and he is just covered up. And not even close. Good defense by Seattle. Nowhere for Ponder to go with the football.
Just inside the 2-yard line of Seattle.
Watch out for Rudolph right here.
This is Adrian Peterson. A helmet comes flying out of there, and it's a touchdown. He worked his way through. Peterson with his 5th touchdown of the season. It took a while, but he got through the Seattle defense.
Seattle, you watch them all along the line of scrimmage to the right side of their defense. They just don't get off blocks. They got guys stalemated, but can't disengage and free themselves up to be able to tackle Adrian Peterson, who just punched it in, as you see here. I mean, that's not an easy chore against a mountain of a man, Big Red Bryant, who's trying to hold off. And you see there, the ball's already over the plane before anything touched the ground.
The fans saw it on the jumbo screen here.
They wanted his forward progress stop.
And they didn't agree with the call the way the ball came out at the end.
Well, it was already over the plane of the goal line. I think they wanted his forward progress stop. They wanted a whistle to be blown.
Well, the officials, with their confirmation, Jerome Boger, our referee, and it has been confirmed. 1-yard touchdown run for Peterson. He hit all 80 yards in that drive.
Didn't I just say he's back to 100%? Holy cow.
That's one way to take the crowd out of it for the moment. The Vikings get the ball, and behind AP, strike first to lead in Seattle 7-0. Tim Wright, Chris Myers, glad you're with us. The NFL on Fox from Seattle, where Adrian Peterson, a 74-yard run, set up his touchdown run. And so Blair Walsh, the rookie, tied for the NFL lead in touchbacks, kicking off to Leon Washington, who will run and down it. Seattle takes over at the 20-yard line. Extra effort after all that running. Peterson to punch it in.
He's just so strong, and look at his wide base with his legs. I mean, never gets his feet together, and he just pushes his way in there, just pure strength.
It's a Herculean effort, maybe more like a Hulk-like. That's Adrian Peterson at the Halloween party.
And that's not even a costume, right? That's just green paint on his skin. I wonder if his eyes turn blue before he turns green.
Man, he is
the old Incredible Hulk.
He is chiseled. And that's if Adrian Peterson isn't chiseled. But Viking fans who have come here to root for their team excited early on first down with 4 wide receivers for Russell Wilson. Complete. That's Jermaine Kearse, activated this week from the practice squad, former Washington Husky from Lakewood, Washington. And checking the offense.
Well, Sidney Rice has really gotten it going over the last couple of weeks, and their play calling, I expect it to continue to change in a bigger effort to get him the ball down the field. Offensive line, no James Carpenter in this one. John Moffitt will be in there at left guard, only playing his 3rd game of the year.
2nd and 4. Here's Marshawn Lynch, 2nd in the NFL in rushing, and he has a first down. All the way up to the 34-yard line. And this defense of the Vikings so good against the run in the first 4 games, but in the last few, they have been ripped up on the ground.
They've been slammed, and guys up front just aren't getting off blocks. I anticipate we're going to see a lot of them running right at Jared Allen that we just saw there, away from Kevin Williams and at Jared Allen. And then the linebackers, Chad Greenway's been really good as always. The other guys not great. And then on the back end, A.J. Jefferson filling in for the injured Chris Cook.
Here comes a flag on first down from the 34.
False start. Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
That is Russell Okung, and with some of those adjustments on the offensive line, he's had some problems with penalties.
Well, that's his 9th. He's got the most penalties by any offensive tackle in the NFL. No excuse for that at home.
1st and 15. Lynch carries back up to near the original line of scrimmage. Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson, they came into the NFL the same season 6 years ago, both first-round draft picks. Didn't seem that way, but when you asked Peterson about running against a guy like Lynch, as you said in the opening, so it's not my primary motivation. I want to win the game, but I want to outrun the game.
Absolutely. And they got to know each other, getting ready for the NFL draft. I promise you, they'll both be watching each other here today as this game goes on.
2nd down 10. Extra receiver and dropped by Kearse. From Lakes High, Jared Allen put some pressure on the rookie quarterback.
Well, that's got to happen. I think if you look at Minnesota, they've only forced 10 turnovers this year, which is clearly not good enough in 8 games. A big part of that is consistent heat on the quarterback. You get after that quarterback, and it's not always sacks, Chris. A lot of times, and Jared Allen knows that. It's not just sacks, it's hits, it's pressures. Forcing him to get it out early can result in takeaways. That's got to uptick for Minnesota.
Jared Allen, the Halloween win as a Coldplay groupie. Try to picture that. On 3rd and 10 with 4 wide receivers. Time for Wilson, whose throw incomplete at the 40. 2 passes delivered. Doug Baldwin, who is active for this game off the high ankle injury, was inactive last week, could not hold up.
And it's not going good for Seattle to start this game. Typically this year they've been a fast starting offense They've got the least number of drops in the NFL coming into the game today. We've already seen 2 in the first drive.
John Ryan back to punt. In fact, this is the first game this year that the Seahawks have not scored first. Vikings with a 7-0 lead, ready for the football. Marcus Sherrills back to receive. 60 degrees. Slight chance of a shower later. No breeze so far. An excellent kick. A great punt. And excellent coverage by Seattle special teams. Jeremy Lane was back there. A 45-yard boot with no return. Vikings have the football and they have the lead. Last drive, Adrian Peterson, that 74-yard run, the classic stiff arm.
Well, the first one is wicked. Boosh! Right there on Alan Branch is going to set down the 330-pounder. And then he's going to double up on it and throw another one on the linebacker, Leroy Hill, and then he's off to the races.
His 13th career run of 50 yards or more.
Harvin from these tight splits, hard to defend.
Ponder has it, throws, and low, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 11. Kyle Rudolph, the tight end, the target.
And Kyle Rudolph's got to get it going. And you look at him to start the year, the tight end, and had 5 touchdowns in the first 3 or 4 games, and he is significantly cooled off. And talked to Christian Ponder about it. He said we just haven't been dialing his number. With all the what we call cover 3, middle safety in the middle of the field for Seattle, Ponder has got to get his number dialed today. That being Kyle Rudolph. Throw him the rock.
Peterson knocked backwards. Bobby Wagner, the middle linebacker, and Red Bryant from up front.
You got all these big boys in front of you, and they're in a double eagle look, which means they've got the 2 defensive tackles covering up the guard. There's nobody that can block the linebacker. You see how that works? You use 3 D linemen to cover the center and both guards. The middle backer is sitting right in the middle. He is unblocked.
Percy Harvin, the handoff, and Percy Harvin up near the ball's out, and Seattle's all over it. Fumble Harvin, recovery Seahawks. Marcus Trufant, the longtime Seahawk, came out with it.
These Seahawks are vicious, vicious tacklers. You get a good block by load hold on Irvin. There's the running lane. Now watch all the blue jerseys rally to the ball and knock it out. And it looked like Bruce Irvin, who was coming in late after being blocked, may have had a part of it. Oh, there it is, right? Trufant actually ripped it out and recovered it.
Trufant from Washington State in Tacoma, Washington, a favorite of the Seahawks. And Harvin, who lined up in the backfield with the turnover. Pete Carroll saying we need more takeaways. We need more takeaways.
Well, not enough in 8 games coming into today. They had 11. You go study the history of Pete Carroll. His teams are almost unbeatable when they win the takeaway giveaway margin.
17-yard line of the Vikings. Marshawn Lynch trying to break a tackle, not letting him go. It was Chad Greenway, the Vikings' leading tackler. And Greenway said, when I looked at the Seattle offense, it mirrored our Viking offense.
There's a lot of similarities, Chris, between these 2 teams. And both committed to the run, both want to play good defense and rush the passer. Definitely a lot of similarities.
Inside the 15, of course, Darrell Bevel, the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks, a former Viking offensive coordinator. Lynch with a big hole. Matt Hard. Marcus Sanford up for the safety spot, or Lynch would have been in the end zone.
There's a huge hole right in the middle of that defense. LaTroy Guion can't disengage off the block. Watch that matchup. Guion against Max Unger, the center. You got to disengage and have the ability to get off that guy, shed him, and get in the hole. Guion can't do that. Big running lane for Lynch.
Seahawks 1st and goal from the Vikings 6 following the fumble. Sidney Rice in motion, the ex-Viking. Russell Wilson has it, end zone throw, and touchdown, Golden Tate.
quarterback, Chris, Russell Wilson, is so darn impressive. Not only his ability to throw, and he's gotten better, and you can see his development every week, but reading the defense. I mean, man coverage. He's got the crosser. Sidney Rice underneath, Golden Tate over the top. Look at the ball location and the accuracy of that throw. Perfect.
Golden Tate's 4th touchdown of the season. Stephen Hauschka, the extra point, and we are tied at 7. Russell Wilson came in with more touchdown passes than any rookie quarterback, and that's saying a lot this year. He just got another one. Seahawks respond, so we're tied at 7 after the Percy Harvin fumble, but he can put the Vikings back on top in a hurry. Back to receive the kick from Hauschka. And Harvin, deep in his end zone, is coming out. Percy Harvin all the way up near the 30-yard line before Earl Thomas made this special teams play. A 39-yard return. Seattle at home undefeated has tied things at 7. Vikings chasing Chicago in the NFC North. The Bears won today. So did the Packers, and so did the Lions, and they all put up some pretty impressive offensive numbers.
Don't tell me Chicago scored again on defense.
Twice. Wow. And Chicago leading the division. Vikings trying to keep pace. Peterson. It's not down yet. Adrian Peterson. Wow. Eventually, Brandon Browner ran him out of bounds up around the 45-yard line. But it looked like he was going to be tackled back at the line of scrimmage, a gain of 16.
The yards after contact once again. Watch Adrian Peterson at the line of scrimmage. He's going to break off one tackle right there by Bobby Wagner, and then watch that cut on the linebacker. That is sickening. I mean, just a good illustration of the power of Adrian Peterson and then the cutting ability and the speed.
Christian Ponder floats one for Harvin out of bounds. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 46-yard line. Already Adrian Peterson with 96 yards rushing. And after contact, that doesn't seem to slow him down.
Well, look at the numbers on the season. Marshawn Lynch right behind him, number 1 in the NFL. His offensive line can block, Chris, but he's his own best blocker. When you're breaking tackles, you're making your own running lanes.
Christian Ponder has it, throws behind Aromashodu. It'll be 3rd and 10. And the Arizona Cardinals losing today in the NFC West. Of course, the Seahawks hoping to move up. Both the Rams and the division-leading 49ers with a bye.
Chris, these are some of the things we've seen which teams have done against Christian Ponder there, the tight end, or Rudolph. Ponder wants to go to him. Chris Clemens won't let him off the line of scrimmage. Now Ponder's got to get to his second read and an inaccurate throw. That's been the theme of him over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Ponder goes down. Jerron Johnson, backup safety, making sure the athletic quarterback couldn't get away. He's yet to complete a pass.
Ponder has been good all year for the most part against the blitz. And Pete Carroll that time dialed up the pressure, and here it's going to come from here. And they told Ponder this week, look, escape not out to your right or your left, up the middle. He worked on that all week. He tried it there. Jerron Johnson wasn't having it. Walked him down.
Officially a sack, so the Seahawks have had at least 1 sack in every game this season. Chris Kluwe, who struggled lately, with a punt into the end zone, and Washington is bringing it out. Leon Washington cut down at the 20-yard line. A 55-yard punt. The return was 22 yards. We're tied at 7 here in Seattle. Top 2 rushers in the NFL. They don't go head-to-head, but they're on the same field today, trying to carry the load for their team. Seahawks first down with Lynch in the backfield from the 22. Russell Wilson completes to Golden Tate, who already has a touchdown. Knocked down beyond the 26-yard line. Russell Wilson came in completing 61% of his passes, a much different quarterback at home than on the road.
It's not even close. All 8 of his interceptions on the season have all come on the road. His quarterback rating, the contrast is unbelievable. You know, and watching him, he just gets better every game. I think we covered him last week in Detroit. Chris, to me, that was his most complete game by far, and they came up short.
2nd and 5. Wilson has it, throws, and caught. That's Sidney Rice near midfield. He came in averaging 13 yards a reception. He's healthy now after a 23-yard game.
Once again, a great read as they put the extra safety in the box. He knows he's got a one-on-one matchup, but watch his footwork as he drives the ball out to the perimeter. I promise you, just about every time Russell Wilson throws the football, it's with good technique and footwork and fundamentals stepping into it.
From the 50-yard line, Marshawn Lynch met hard, a good tackle by Aaron Henderson. Yeah, the Viking coaching staff coached at the Senior Bowl, and they had Russell Wilson, and Leslie Frazier said right away you could see Russell Wilson's command of the huddle and his leadership skills just jumped out at you.
He's got innate leadership skills and I've talked to a few of the Viking fans. Even Harrison Smith told us yesterday, you can't coach that. He's born with it. So you could see that there, but you couldn't see the skill sets as a player at the Senior Bowl. I thought he was awful in the Senior Bowl game. Russell Wilson has changed a lot of perceptions about him here this year with the Seahawks. He's a good player.
They need 7. Here's Lynch, who's got a first down. Marshawn Lynch down to the 36-yard line of Minnesota. And he's having a good day.
He's going to get a nice block by Zach Miller crossing the formation. Just gets enough on Robinson, creates a nice seam. I'll tell you, Minnesota, they move their front so much and slant, and a lot of times slanting those front defensive linemen, they slant themselves right out of the hole where the ball's coming back to.
Lynch came in averaging 4.8 yards a carry. Russell Wilson has it and is under some pressure here. Jared Allen keeping the heat on and gets rid of him. Jared Allen comes in with 7 sacks, and when Harrison Smith said our defense, we lean on the veteran leadership to bounce back after our last performance, he's talking about Jared Allen.
Absolutely. Jared, you look at Jared Allen, you look at Kevin Williams, you look at Chad Greenway. These guys were, as I said earlier, just embarrassed at their performance against the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Robert Turbin checks it at running back, the rookie from Utah State, and that's Sidney Rice dancing around toward the backfield. He gets the football, and he throws it, and it's caught inside the 15 by Zach Miller. A 25-yard completion.
And it's a double pass, and you see Sidney Rice. He's coming over the top right here. He's going to peel out to the right. Quick throw from Russell Wilson. Bang. Now he's going to set up. And Zach Miller, Antoine Winfield came up. You're going to see Antoine Winfield force it up right there. And Miller runs right by him. Nice throw from Sidney Rice.
He's 4 of 6 in his career passing, and that was definitely behind the line of scrimmage. At first, you couldn't tell. Here's Lynch. Nowhere to go. He strung out at the 11-yard line. Sidney Rice, the former Viking who spoke fondly of his Minnesota days, but he said, I know we had a dome in Minnesota, but I think it's louder here in Seattle when fans really get going.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, he plays here now. You got to enjoy the home cooking. There's no roof on this place, but it does get so loud you can't hear yourself think. Of course, I have that problem sometimes anyway. 2nd and 9. Wilson throws and open. No, he couldn't hang on. Michael Robinson with another drop.
That's number 3 for the Seattle Seahawks offense. And all very accurate throws from Russell Wilson. He is now 4 of 8. Should be 7 of 8.
And getting touchdowns when they get into the red zone has been an issue here. Now you get 3rd and 9. Turbin stays in the game for Pete Carroll. Sidney Rice, Doug Baldwin, and Golden Tate, your receivers, and they're all lined up at the top of your screen.
Watch out for Turbin coming out of the backfield.
Wilson is going to run and throw, and touchdown, Sidney Rice!
Watch what Sidney Rice does here. It's cover 2. He's going right down the middle of the field against a linebacker, and then he just drifts with his quarterback. Sidney Rice sees Russell Wilson in trouble, bails out to his right, and stays right in his line of sight, and Russell Wilson finds him.
The extra point from Hauska, and as good as Russell Wilson is from the pocket, he's as sharp on the run throwing the football. If you're a defender, what are you going to do? 4th touchdown catch for Rice this season.
Russell Wilson is so impressive, always challenging the line of scrimmage as a runner, but looking to throw. And Sidney Rice, when you look at him, and I think he is finally over the health hurdle, Chris. He's starting to remind me of that player he was in Minnesota in 2009 when he went to the Pro Bowl.
And double shoulder surgery. Was going to have some Viking players over for dinner at his house here in Seattle, but not sure if many of them made it. That drive, 78 yards, 9 plays. And Russell Wilson, when I was at practice on Friday, Tim, even when they took a break, he got with Sidney Rice, Doug Baldwin, and Golden Tate, went off to the side during their break and went back over some pass patterns and goal line situations. The guy just never stops working.
He doesn't stop. He lives the game 24/7. That's what Russell Wilson's about. And I think if you get to know him, and we have this year, it's about being a tremendous person first in terms of his character and how he handles his life and his lifestyle, and then being the best football player he can be second. Really incredible, some of the things that he does. I mean, he's coming in on Tuesday, their off day. He's already got all the tape broken down to the next opponent, has tip sheets in all the lockers, the wide receivers saying this is how we can get on these guys next week. Chris, the coaches haven't even put the game plan together yet.
Hauska's boot. Harbin is going to hold up. Viking offense takes over at the 20-yard line. In fact, Sidney Rice said that you get text every week from Russell Wilson about how to prepare. You mentioned the impressive numbers in 2009. In fact, he still stays in contact with Brett Favre the year they went to the NFC title game, and his Pro Bowl year where he was a big target and almost unstoppable.
And the beauty of him, and Favre knew it, and I remember talking to Favre, he's got such a huge catch radius. Throw it anywhere around him, he'll go get it, just like right there. That ball was behind him. Not a bad throw, but certainly one that some receivers would drop. Sidney Rice makes it look easy.
6'4", Sidney Rice. Ponder looking for a completion. Has a short one to Peterson. Vikings scored first when Adrian Peterson ran for all 80 of the yards, and then the Seahawks respond with a fumble and then the touchdown toss moments ago.
And you see there, that's the first completion by Christian Ponder. He told us yesterday if there's one area of this defense where they like their matchups and they think they can attack, it's right in the middle of the defense between the safeties and at the middle linebacker.
Adrian Peterson goes down. Big Red Bryant, 330. Clogging up any running lane Peterson was looking for.
If you're going to get to the edge, you need to have a down block by your tight end on the big defensive end, and watch Red Bryant just destroy Kyle Rudolph. Knocks him 2 yards into the backfield, in front of the fullback, the lead blocker, and then falls back inside for the tackle. Impressive.
On 3rd and 7. From the 23. Pass is complete. Michael Jenkins fighting to get up near the 30-yard line.
Seattle defense, for as good as they are, 3rd down is their biggest issue.
And he got the first down.
I mean, their biggest issue by far. You think of third and longs, and third and long in this league, Chris, is 3rd and 6+ to get the conversion. They force more of those situations than any defense in the NFL, yet they're the worst in the league. They're 32nd out of 32 teams trying to get off the field on third down.
And you saw last week, that's how the game got away when they were on the road at Detroit. Percy Harvin in the backfield. That's Rudolph in motion. Harvin gets the pitch. And Percy Harvin, who lost the fumble that Trufant recovered, gets up across the 36-yard line. Here comes Peterson. Back in the game. Amazing. I mean, he defies modern medicine with the major surgery on the knee. And then his ankle, his left ankle's been bothering him. Missed practice this week, but he's had 10 days of rest. And is ready to go. Ponder's throw. Somehow he slipped it in there to Jerome Simpson for a first down at midfield. So the top two running backs coming in have done their part.
They've been tremendous, both of them. Adrian Peterson with the 74-yard run just came up short. I think Russell Wilson has been terrific. Christian Ponder finally starting to find his way a little bit in terms of the completions. Now 3 of 7.
And Russell Wilson, who has thrown the 2 touchdown passes. The Seahawks with a 7-point lead in the first quarter winding down. And that is the end of the first quarter. The Vikings from midfield with a first down. But the Seahawks have a 7-point lead. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox. Start of the second quarter, first down from midfield. Adrian Peterson carries. Along with Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, glad you're with us for the NFL on Fox. KJ Wright, linebacker, leading tackler for the Seahawks with a concussion, is out for the remainder of this game. Mike Morgan will come in for him as the Vikings face a second down.
Yeah, there's Morgan there, number 57, second-year player out of USC, so he knows Pete Carroll's system. But KJ Wright, huge loss. As you said, number 1 tackler, but is a big part of what they do in their success on defense.
Christian Ponder is going to keep it inside the 45 of Seattle. Going to bring up third down. If you're just joining us here, Percy Harvin after the Adrian Peterson touchdown. Marcus Trufant on the fumble, and then Russell Wilson to Golden Tate. And then a touchdown pass to Sidney Rice, and it's 14-7 Seahawks. 3rd and 4. Ponder floats one down the sideline. Incomplete for Percy Harvin. Here comes a flag. Trufant on the coverage.
Well, that ball was underthrown. Problem is, and that would have been a touchdown if he'd have put it over the top, put a little more air under it, but Marcus Trufant never turned and located the football. I mean, you can have incidental contact, but you've got to flip your head and try to find the ball before you make that contact.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. Foul, automatic, first down.
And I think Trufant was in so much catch-up mode. As you see the matchup right there out of the slot, he knows he's beat. Now he's got to put his foot on the gas pedal and try to catch up to Percy Harvin, and the underthrown route really is what forced the contact, as you see it there with Trufant never locating the ball.
A 24-yard penalty. Vikings from the 20 of Seattle. Peterson met hard as he goes forward for a yard and is pushed backward. Brandon Mebane in the middle of that Seattle defense. Peterson nearing the 100-yard mark. 13:20 to go here in the first half.
I'll tell you what's incredible about him, and we all know, what he is and what he means to this league as the elite rusher, but his first 6 years in the NFL, he's got more rushing yards than the great Jim Brown. I know they only played 12, 14 games or whatever, but come on. Incredible.
From the 19, Ponder has time, and nice throw in the middle of the field to Allen Reisner. second-year tight end who was brought up from the practice squad because of the concussion to John Carlson, who is a former Seahawk who is inactive.
And right to the middle of the field, just what we talked about where they like their matchups against this Seattle defense.
13-yard completion to Reisner. Percy Harvin splits to the right, top of your screen. On first and goal, Vikings. Peterson grabbed around the ankle and falls inside the 5-yard line. Clinton McDonald helping out. His 31st 100-yard game. 12th, amazing that it's the 12th time for Peterson that he's had 100 yards in the first half of a game.
Name that back who he just passed. Robert Smith.
Peterson. Near the goal line and touchdown. Adrian Peterson got in. A delayed call. His second touchdown of the game.
He's going to have Ellison leading him up inside there. That's the same play that we saw from the Seattle Seahawks. And they've got him stopped now at about the 2-yard line, and AP just pushes his way in. See if we can see here if that ball is over the goal line playing, and it almost looks like Seattle kind of grabbed him and helped him into the end zone.
They pulled the Hulk forward.
Look at his legs still driving.
Yeah, he's not really down there.
The ball, here's the ball right there. Hard to tell.
It's already been confirmed by the replay crew. So on for the extra point to tie this game is Blair Walsh and Adrian Peterson. Another 80-yard drive. His second touchdown of the game. We built this as a Marshawn Lynch, Adrian Peterson, but Russell Wilson with a couple of touchdown passes, and Adrian Peterson with 2 scores are going at it. A really nice day here in the Seattle area, the Pacific Northwest. A little more scoring than we thought we'd see. Already 28 points on the board in the second quarter with 11:46 to play. And Leon Washington deep will down it. Seattle will come out to the 20-yard line. Adrian Peterson, his third consecutive 100-yard rushing game, and he's already got 2 touchdowns. Seattle has the football. Rookie quarterback Russell Wilson with a couple of touchdown tosses. Earlier today, Luck beat Tannehill in a matchup of first-rounders. The Indianapolis Colts defeating the Dolphins 23-20. Wilson, a third-rounder out of Wisconsin, has won the starting job and held up well. And still has it. Sidney Rice. Short of the line of scrimmage. There's a flag up there at the 30-yard line. There's a lot going on there for very little.
Yeah, and you can tell now if you've watched Seattle over the last couple of weeks, there's a true ambition to get the ball to Sidney Rice.
Illegal contact. Defense. Number 24. 5-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
And that call is on A.J. Jefferson, who is starting because Chris Cook went on injured reserve, who had been doing a nice job at the corner spot.
They really felt like they trust A.J. Jefferson, who's been in Arizona throughout his career because of his experience and his feel for passing concepts. That was not a good call.
I didn't see it anyway. Fighting hard. Marshawn Lynch. Let's get a game break. Here's Patrick O'Neill.
Chris, thanks a lot. Buccaneers and the Raiders. Josh Freeman down the field. Vincent Jackson for the touchdown. Both these teams 3-4, 7-3 ball game in the second quarter. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Patrick. Remember, it was the Buccaneers who ran all over the Vikings a week ago Thursday up in Minnesota. On 2nd and 3. This is Robert Turbin. They need to get to the 35-yard line to get a first down.
But Jasper Brinkley, sitting right in the middle of that defense, the middle linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings, was not going to let that happen. He just got up all under the shoulder pads of the fullback, Michael Robinson.
And I know the Seahawks are on offense, but the crowd has been quieted somewhat with the performance of Minnesota, able to put up 14 points here in the first half. On 3rd and 1. Inside handoff, Robinson. And the Vikings were ready for it.
Well, I think they were ready for him because they knew on their scouting report, Chris, that Michael Robinson had been perfect in 3rd and 1 situations. And if you're Seattle, why not give it to him? He hasn't been stopped yet. Minnesota was all over it.
Seahawks forced into a punting situation on 4th down.
And you can just see all the blue jerseys for the Seahawks. The offensive line were going backwards.
Yeah, there was nowhere for him to go.
No, and then a nice fill by Jamarcus Sanford, the safety, who got right up in the line of scrimmage and wrapped up Michael Robinson, excuse me.
Ryan standing inside his 20. Marcus Sherrills coming forward to the 25. And we're losing yard. Keith Farwell, Mr. Special Teams for the Seahawks after a 41-yard punt. We are tied at 14. 3 games all of last year. Seahawks were 2-6 at this point last year. And at 4-4. From the 24, first down Minnesota. Ponder has it and keeps it and slides across the 31-yard line. See how far the progress is marking it. They need to get to the 34 for a first down.
And Christian Ponder needs to do more of that in terms of crossing the line of scrimmage as a runner. That wasn't man coverage there, but he's going to see a lot of man coverage in this game, which means if you run those defenders off and they have their backs turned to you, there's going to be a lot of open real estate for Ponder to use those legs.
2nd and 2. There goes Adrian Peterson. Inside the 45 of Seattle. A 24-yard run.
John Sullivan, his center, and look at this matchup, has been outstanding in this game. Watch this block on the nose tackle, Clint McDonald. And that is what you call a full-blown hook block, which opened up the big hole, and then now Adrian Peterson is just going to follow the lead blocker untouched until he got about 15, 20 yards down the field.
Inside the 45, first down. Peterson again. There goes Adrian Peterson. Now he's inside the 30. Earl Thomas had to make the stop from his safety spot. They can't stop Adrian Peterson.
And it's the whole left side of the offensive line. They get these defenders all smashed down into the inside. Look at the block there by Matt Khalil on Red Bryant. That is no easy task to create that kind of edge for Adrian Peterson, who just puts his head down and tries to truck Earl Thomas.
He's over 140 yards. First down inside the 30. Percy Harvin. Met hard inside the 15 by Richard Sherman. And they're jawing at each other.
Richard Sherman jaws at everybody.
Brandon Browner says he plays best when he's talking.
Here's an example of the speed of Harvin. He's just going to run right around Mike Morgan. No chance. Now listen to this hit. Ejected.
But a gain of 15, so from the 14-yard line, the Vikings are marching in for what they hope is a go-ahead score. Toby Gerhart in it back. Christian Ponder flips to Gerhart. Now they're on the 10-yard line. Adrian Peterson wanted to come back in, but we asked him about, what do you like, what do you think of the power run, the speed? He was vacillating between which he preferred, but it ended up power first, then the speed.
All about the power for Adrian Peterson. And he also said where he loves to run is to the left side, not to the right side as much. I anticipated he would have said behind Big Phil Loadholt, their massive right tackle. To the contrary, but he loved running to the left behind the rookie, Matt Khalil.
Off the hands of Percy Harvin. Ponder 5 out of 10 so far in this game.
And one thing about him, I think if you look at the last 4 games, and a lot of their throws all year long, Chris, are behind the line of scrimmage, but his accuracy on those quick throws to the perimeter leave a lot to be desired.
Pressure coming. Ponder goes down. Bobby Wagner with the Seattle sack. 4th down.
Adrian Peterson was responsible for him, but I think Bobby Wagner delays it just enough. Peterson's got his eyes on Wagner, who's going to step up, but he's convinced Wagner's staying in coverage. He takes off. Here comes Bobby Wagner for the sack.
36-yard field goal try for the dynamic rookie Blair Walsh. He's made 8 in a row. Make it 9, and 18 out of 19 so far this season. But the Vikings have the lead by 3 here in Seattle. Percy Harvin came in tied for the NFL lead in receptions, and he's hot about something.
He is agitated, and he was very animated talking to Leslie Frazier on the sideline after he came off that last drive when there was the sack. You can see it, the frustration written all over his face.
Leon Washington back to receive the kick, and he will down. In fact, Harvin has not had a catch in this game. He has run 3 times, but he did fumble the football. Here he is talking to Leslie, well, I should say, getting upset with Leslie Frazier.
And hard to speculate what he's upset about. Was it the lack of execution in the pass protection? Was it the quarterback not getting the ball out on time? Clearly frustrated.
An impressive drive that stalls, and the Vikings settle for 3. Good enough for the lead at the moment. Seahawks from their own 20. Marshawn Lynch 45 yards rushing so far on 8 carries. And Lynch still has it. Powering up near the 25-yard line. Chad Greenway trying to bring him down.
Well, you asked which one of to start the game here, which one of these defenses are going to step up after their worst performances from last week. Of course, Minnesota against Tampa, Seattle at Detroit. The answer is neither one of them have stepped up so far in this game. Did not expect this kind of point explosion in the first half.
Second down 6. That's Michael Robinson. And it looks like he's up across the 30 for a first down for the Seahawks. They tried it on 3rd and short. It didn't work, but here he does get the first down. Former Penn State quarterback who has done a good job blocking for Marshawn Lynch as well.
A very good get a couple of years ago from the San Francisco 49ers. You strengthen your football team and you weaken your division opponent. It's a nice acquisition by John Schneider, the general manager.
49ers lead the NFC West with a bye. Seahawks trying to get to 5 and 4. Marshawn Lynch. Those legs keep working. He's up across the 36-yard line. Already had 4 touchdowns in this game. Adrian Peterson with a 74-yard dash. Set up a short run, and then Russell Wilson to Golden Tate, and on the move to Sidney Rice, the former Viking. Peterson, this is how they both looked, having to squirm his way in. And that's where we are with the Viking field goal, the difference. 2nd and 2. It's Lynch. And he will lose yardage. Greenway and Brinkley. Some excellent run defense.
I'll tell you, it all starts when you run that inside play, and it goes off the defensive tackle that's lined up on the outside shade of the guard, and there he is, Christian Ballard. That's the guy you've got to get blocked if this run's going to work. And watch as he pushes McQuiston into the backfield. forces Lynch to put his foot in the ground and cut to the outside where all the Viking defenders were waiting for him.
So he lost 2, an important 3rd and 4 early in this half for the Seahawks. That's Turbin going to the top of your screen. Here comes a flag. The pass is caught for a first down by Rice. Two penalties accepted on the part of Seattle, 1 on Minnesota here in this first half.
Offside. Defense, number 97. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
Everson Griffin called for the offside, but it didn't matter because Sidney Rice made the catch, his 3rd. And now from the 43-yard line, Seahawks with a fresh set of downs.
Take a shot. One-on-one matchup. Sidney Rice against a rookie.
Russell Wilson slipping, a would-be sacker, and he's on the run. Across the 46-yard line, goes out of bounds. Brian Robinson got in and had a chance for his 5th sack of the year, but Russell got away from him.
He is so precocious, and when I say that, mature beyond your years. Seriously, for a rookie, he never panics. Brian Robinson is right in his grill, ready to sack him. Watch this. A little stutter step, bounce outside, keep his eyes down the field, take your time, nobody's open. Now use your athletic skills to pick up about 6 yards.
He calmly put him in a situation now on 2nd down 6 after a 4-yard pickup. And Turbin, with the helmet coming up. What a smack delivered by Kevin Williams. It was Moffitt who lost his helmet.
Kevin Williams is not the same player that he was just a few years ago. Chris, he's unstoppable for a time there in the year. You do see flashes of his brilliance, and you saw it right here. He's going to chew on that double team and then get a big hit.
We have reached the 2-minute warning here in Seattle. 3rd and 7 for the Seahawks from their own 46-yard line. They trail by 3. All 3 of their timeouts. Vikings also have all 3. Robert Turbin the back. Russell Wilson throws and caught near the first down marker by Doug Baldwin.
Looks like he's going to be short.
He had to come back to get the football toward the sideline. That's his first catch of the game. Seahawks grateful that he's active for this game after missing last week and having some ankle injury problems. So it's 4th and 1. And it looks like Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson are planning on going for it here.
Russell Wilson looks like he's having some issues with the communication device in his helmet. You could see there as he was kind of like, what's going on here, and then had to look to the sideline.
4th down. Wilson keeps, spins, falls forward. He didn't need much. Put the line on the field to show it's a first down. First down, Seahawks.
And Antoine Winfield is upset that Russell Wilson got that. He thought they had him stopped.
And a hurry up or a no huddle for Wilson, who was so calm for a rookie in these 2-minute drill situations. Middle of the field open. First down catch, Zach Miller. 25-yard line of Minnesota. All 3 timeouts, both teams. Just over a minute to go. Russell Wilson will get rid of it. There's a flag down back at the 11-yard line in the secondary. After the 22-yard completion to Miller.
I think it's going to be on Jamarcus Sanford for illegal contact in the middle of the field.
While the quarterback was still in the pocket. Illegal contact. Defense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Chad Greenway shaking his head. 58 seconds to go before the half. Right at the 20-yard line. Coming up, the Visa halftime report, all the scores and highlights, and explosive offense from the teams in the NFC North today. Turbin has it, slips a tackle. Robert Turbin to the 10-yard line. And Seattle's going to use a timeout. They will have 2 remaining with 52 seconds to go before the half. It's been an exciting first half so far. Let's check on Kurt Benefee, see what's coming up at the half.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, we'll get you caught up on a busy Week 9 in the NFL, including another big day for the Chicago defense, a record-setting day for Andrew Luck, and the Packers' winning streak continues. So join Terry, Howie, Jimmy, and me on the Visa halftime. They'll be here.
They'll show up for you, Kurt. Officially here, they mark it at the 11-yard line, so it's 2nd and 1. At our production meeting, it's the first time I saw a quarterback come into the production meeting wearing the wristband plays.
I'm telling you, he lives the game. I think he sleeps in it.
Russell Wilson had 2 flaps over there. He said, I'll go to those if I have communication problems from the helmet. And, of course, the play shuts off anyway 15 seconds before.
Hey, don't underestimate that their run game is still alive here. Only 52 seconds, but they still have 2 timeouts, so they can run the football.
Marshawn Lynch is back in. Wilson's throws to Golden Tate. He has a first down. He has a touchdown. Ball comes out, but touchdown Seahawks.
What if they've been needing yards after the catch? There's 1 broken tackle. Now he's going to leave 2 Minnesota Vikings laying on the ground. Now the hurdle over the top. Ball crosses the plane right there before it was knocked out. Touchdown before Everson Griffin was able to get his elbow on it. Seattle has been needing that all year. And Golden Tate's really the guy, Chris, who can get the yards after the catch.
He's only 5'10", but he went high in the air. His 2nd touchdown today. Golden Tate has 5 for the year. Now is ruled a touchdown on the field and being confirmed by the officials upstairs on replay. And it has been confirmed, so the extra point after a 12-play, 80-yard drive. And Hauska with the extra point that is no good. And kind of a weird spin to it. And that could be big.
Keeps it 3 points. I believe it was Kevin Williams right up the middle. It sure was. Number 93 just came right up the gut in between the center and the left guard and got his hand up.
Snap and hold looks good.
Yeah, I was surprised. That kick came out a little low. I mean, those extra points, usually you get locked on those things. Don't give the big boys a chance inside. This one comes out relatively low right there, and Kevin Williams gets his hand on it.
A big block on the part of Kevin Williams and the Vikings to keep it a 3-point game.
How impressive is Russell Wilson, honestly?
So calm in those situations for a guy in his 9th NFL game. And he said that all the close games, 7 of their 8 previous games have been decided by a touchdown or fewer. And he said all those close games, each game, I build up more experience in these situations. Marcus Sherrills back to receive instead of Percy Harvin. Now they're going to squib it. The up man takes it across the 35-yard line for Minnesota. That's Jerome Felton, reserve running back, who gets near the 40-yard line. And the Vikings do have all 3 timeouts and a kicker who's got a big-time leg. In the aftermath of natural disasters like that Superstorm Sandy, the American Red Cross provides life-saving services such as meals, shelter, and mobilizing resources. Outside the stadium today, we saw some people donating. Workers nationwide doing their best. You can visit redcross.org or text Red Cross to 90999 to give a $10 donation. We appreciate everybody pitching in. Ponder's throw to Harvin, brought down right away as the clock continues to run. And the Vikings will use a timeout. They'll have 2 remaining. The NFL Players Association, the league itself, Ziggy Wilf, the owner of the Vikings, making large donations to those in need of help and relief, and the Red Cross in the aftermath of that storm. So many people affected up and down the East Coast. Adrian Peterson, one of those, his foundation contributing as well.
Unbelievable, the water damage from that storm, and just thinking about all those folks in the Northeast.
And great how a league, a sport can pull together and rally. There's Ziggy Wilf from New Jersey. 33 seconds up, 2nd and 9.
Give it a shot right there.
Ponder, can he get rid of it? He does. Incomplete. Overthrowing Gerhardt. It'll be 3rd down.
You can just see when you get any kind of pressure on Christian Ponder, his confidence goes right out the window, and I think his accuracy follows it. He just gets unsure of himself, and most quarterbacks do, especially the young ones. And a lot of times, Chris, you'll see him escape and break out and have it, and he's still kind of in that panic mode, unable to settle himself down when there's pressure.
Gerhardt, 1st down Vikings, down to the 45 of Seattle.
Call another timeout.
22 seconds remaining. Minnesota will have a timeout remaining. They're going to mark it at the 46-yard line. It's been an explosive first half for 2 teams that think they belong in the conversation when it comes to the NFC playoff picture. Tim Ryan, Chris Myers, we have Jamie Maggio down on the field. She'll be joining us with the halftime report. And it's tough to leave these guys out of the conversation in the second half. Minnesota has a brutal schedule versus Seattle towards the end of the season, playing the NFC West opponents. And they both have teams, Tim, in their division, the Bears and 49ers, that are playing good football.
Well, Seattle's already 0-3 in the division. I mean, they do have 3 games obviously remaining in division, and they're all here at home towards the end of the year. And I think Leslie Frazier said it. Minnesota, they still control their own destiny.
Ponder goes down at midfield. Greg Scruggs, who was bothered by an oblique muscle, bothered Ponder.
And here's Scruggs. He's just going to bull rush, which means he's going to take the right guard, Brandon Fusco, just right into the quarterback. That's just not good awareness by Christian Ponder of understanding that that lane up inside the escape lane is closed. What are we calling that dance?
I'm not sure. That's a guy that big moving. It's a good thing we have it in slow motion.
We'll just call it the Scrug.
The Scrug, yeah.
The Scrug, right?
That's not bad. Well, the Vikings use their last timeout. They still, if they can pick up yardage here, might be able to try a long field goal to end the half, but they only have 9 seconds. They're right at midfield. Blair Walsh has kicked. He was making 55, 56-yarders in pregame warm-up. Ponder underneath to Jenkins, but that's not going to do much. And that'll bring us to the half. The Seahawks will get the ball first to start the second half. And they have the lead despite an outstanding performance from Adrian Peterson. Seahawks lead the Vikings by 3 at the break. Let's go to Kurt Menefee and the Visa halftime report. Getting ready for the start of the 3rd quarter. Seahawks with the lead. They'll get the ball. The NFL helping with many others, including the Red Cross, for those in the aftermath of the storm Sandy that hit the Northeast. Our own Jamie Maggio, family in that area, doing her part to help raise awareness, and a player helping you out unexpectedly, Jamie.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. You know, amidst tragedy, you'll find encouragement in people's kindness and compassion, and that includes some superstar athletes. When Adrian Peterson found out that I grew up in Long Island, New York, and was having a fundraiser to raise money for the hurricane victims back east, he actually sent me an email, and he said, if there's anything I can do to help, just let me know, whether it be donations or anything, let me know. I am all in. He said that no matter, you know, you can rebuild the city, but you just can't do anything about the lives that are lost, and it's just so devastating. And Chris, it was something like that, just a simple gesture by him that was really, truly such a genuine act of kindness.
Thanks, Jamie. And certainly with a lot on his mind, as many of the players and those in and around the National Football League quick to respond when people are in need. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. With Jamie Maggio down on the field, Tim Ryan, Chris Myers up in the booth. And the Vikings will kick off to start the second half. Leon Washington back to return for Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll once a defensive backs coach for this Viking organization earlier in his career. And Seattle protecting a 3-point lead will start at the 20-yard line. Russell Wilson with a couple of touchdown passes. Our perch here in Seattle on a good weather day for Seattle. The Seahawks have the lead. They have the football. Let's talk about what Minnesota has to do to try to get back on top. Well,
I think Christian Ponder has to be better, clearly. And then defensively, they've got to get more pressure on Russell Wilson. I mean, when they have gotten pressure, they've given him escape lanes. He's been able to get outside the pocket and make plays, which he has done certainly most of the year. And then I think the other thing, if you're Seattle defensively, Chris, we talked about being great tacklers. They have not been that. They've already missed 15 tackles in this game, and Adrian Peterson has been exploding.
Wilson incomplete, intended for Golden Tate. A couple of drops in the first half. Russell Wilson overcame that. 12 touchdown passes this year in his 9th NFL game. Now 10 of 15 overall over 100 yards, and Adrian Peterson with 144 yards and 2 touchdowns on the Vikings side of things.
And Marshawn Lynch hasn't been bad himself. I know we have tabbed that up as a big-time competition between those two guys. Certainly hasn't been Adrian Peterson, but he's running for 5 yards a carry.
There goes Marshawn Lynch, who picks up 8 on that carry. It'll be 3rd and short for Seattle. Checking the halftime stats, there was an early turnover by Percy Harvin that affected the momentum for Minnesota. And the Seahawks were able to take advantage.
And look at the total yards. 228 for Minnesota, 198 for the Seahawks. Both teams gave up over 400 yards in their last game. Wanted to respond and respond well the next time out, which is today's game. Neither team has done that defensively.
3rd and 2 from the 28. Wilson's pass is batted away by Brian Robinson.
Now, what's new? Robinson bats just about everything. Any short pass that comes his way, he's got a great ability to understand that the ball is coming out quick. And you see him there at the left defensive end spot. The ball's coming out, watches the quarterback, gets his hands up. He's really good at getting those pass breakups.
So a 3 and out, as you said, put pressure on Russell Wilson. Gives the Vikings an opportunity to get the football. Marcus Sherrill's back to receive Bryant's punt. Here comes a flag as he goes to the 20-yard line. It's a tackle, and Marcus Sherrill's across the 32-yard line. Each team with 2 penalties accepted in the first half. A 54-yard punt with a 14-yard return.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 24. Half the distance from the spot, from the end of the kick. Timeout.
A.J. Jefferson called for the penalty. It'll back up the Vikings, but their defense had Seattle standing still. Vikings from their own 10. Percy Harvin has the football. Harvin hit hard, trying to get up to the 20-yard line for a first down. We saw him, John and Leslie Frazier, upset. Now, he was bothered by a hamstring during the course of the week limiting practice, and we know he plays very physical.
Yeah, you almost got to protect Percy Harvin from Percy Harvin with his reckless style. Took a good shot there. First he shook down Earl Thomas, though. I think Earl Thomas, defensively for the Seahawks, is the only guy in terms of the speed factor that can stay with him. Shook him down like he was standing still that last play.
Peterson slips and will lose a yard, so it'll be 3rd and short. Mike Morgan, who's in for the injured K.J. Wright, went out with a concussion in the first half, was there.
And it's been a challenge anyway trying to stop Adrian Peterson. And without K.J. Wright, your best tackler, That tour just got harder for Seattle defensively.
Now it's 3rd and 2. Peterson catches for a first down across the 20-yard line. Adrian Peterson, who has run for over 140 yards, to get him involved in the passing game. Look out, his second catch of the game.
I don't think they use him enough as a receiver out of the backfield.
First set of downs. He's carrying the football. There's a challenge coming in, and it was thrown right before the snap of the football.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's going to challenge the spot of that last play. And Adrian Peterson catching it on the sideline, and whether or not he actually got the first down. You can challenge a spot.
Ruled a catch first down on the field by the officiating crew.
Prior to the snap, Seattle is challenging the rule of the field of the out-of-bounds spot in relevance to the first down.
First challenge of the game for either team. Seahawks have a 3-point lead. Vikings have the football. Ruled a first down on the field, challenged by Pete Carroll.
I think it was a good call on the field. It's where the ball is, not where the body is. And Adrian Peterson.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a first down for Minnesota.
See, it's not where his body is.
Charged their first challenge and their first timeout of the second half.
And you could see nothing was out of bounds, and he had already pushed the ball past the first down line to gain.
It was a third down play, but cost him a timeout.
I don't think that's a good challenge by Pete Carroll, especially from his perspective over on the far sideline.
Not enough there to overturn anything from what we saw. Vikings from their own 20-yard line. Leslie Frazier said in this game, to help combat the crowd, we need first downs and touchdowns. Peterson with nowhere to go. A massive wall of humanity.
Led by Alan Branch, big number 98, who is, to me, really kind of rejuvenated his career. Started in Arizona as a second-round pick. Things weren't great for him down there. He got up here to Seattle now, and he has been really an outstanding defensive tackle, clogging up the middle.
2nd and 11 after the loss. Christian Ponder from the pocket will run up to the 25-yard line. Mebane there. It'll be third down.
You know, to me, he looks mechanical in this game. He talked to us yesterday about all the coaching he got this week and footwork and escape the pocket, you know, north and south, not east and west, out of the pocket. We've already seen him a couple of times today be quick to get out and try to run with his legs right down the middle, and there's not a lot of running room there.
3rd and 7. Bruce Irvin and Leroy Hill. 4th sack of the game for the Seahawks.
Boy, that is about as easy as it gets for Bruce Irvin. I want you to watch Phil Loadholt. 2 coming off the edge. Loadholt's going to react down inside here late. Watch this. It's a 2-on-2 game out there. And he leaves Adrian Peterson, hangs him out to dry, trying to block 2 guys. You got no chance with Bruce Irvin and Leroy Hill coming off the corner.
Chris Cluey from the 5-yard line. Leon Washington back it up, but will have a chance. Nowhere to go. Excellent special teams coverage. Back inside the 30 after a 53-yard punt. Christian Ponder flummoxed by the Seattle defense. It's not just a game, it's always a scene here in Seattle. Pass complete to Golden Tate. He's got 2 touchdowns today across the 41-yard line for a first down. Seattle's defense, Leroy Hill and Irvin on that previous sack. 4 sacks by Seattle today, most allowed by Minnesota in a game this season.
Well, they needed that. And that being those sacks, we talked about it in the open. Getting that pass rush to heat up. Nice block there by Sidney Rice. And see all those little quick perimeter throws out to the wide receiver and get one guy blocked. Sidney Rice was able to block Aaron Henderson just enough to give the running lane. Golden Tate.
And it's Tate on the other side. Stopped at the 48-yard line. 9:40 to go here in the third quarter.
I don't know how much more punishment that guy can take. You talked about Golden Tate's size. And a real emphasis to get him the ball in the short patterns and let him run after the catch. He's been able to do that, but he's been getting lit up at the same time.
The Seahawks, the youngest starting offense in the NFL. 25 years, 310 days. The Vikings, the second youngest starting offensive unit in the league. Russell Wilson. First down, Seattle. 43-yard line of Minnesota.
Watch how Russell Wilson holds the fake long enough to really identify what Jared Allen's doing. And as soon as he sees Jared Allen, the defensive end, squeeze down with that running fake, he knows he's got a big running lane. It's just him and the outside linebacker, and Russell Wilson picked up the first down. Is that passer rating at home red hot again, which has been the story all year.
First and 10. Wilson avoids a sack and gets back to the 41 with a pickup of a couple. Slippery in there at just under 5'11", maybe 5'10".
Yeah, I'd say closer to 5'10" than 5'11".
A signature win here at home as center Max Unger is kneeling over in pain. Undefeated at home so far this year. The Seahawks with wins over the Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Packers, and leading Minnesota. The Mule Jean-Pierre, number 61, is in for Max Unger, and Pete Carroll quickly went to his backup and said, help us out, get warm.
Well, I love what Pete does. I mean, he never stops thinking, not just get warm. Hey, give me the ball. We need to get it to our center. He got to get some snaps over here.
Here comes the flag. And you wonder what that had to do with the reserve center.
All-star offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
The call is on Brano Giacomini.
They have self-destructed on the edges with those bookend offensive tackles. I mean, you talked about Russell Okung earlier in the game with his false start and league-leading penalties. I mean, guess who's number 2 right behind him? Brano Giacomini, the right tackle.
Penalty makes it 2nd and 13. 47-yard line of Minnesota. Russell Wilson for Lynch. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt?
Well, after 200 total yards in his last game, Doug Martin looking pretty good today for the Bucs against the Raiders. 45-yard touchdown run. He's over the 100 total yard mark here as they start the second half. And right now, his Bucs with the lead, 14-10 in the third quarter at open. Chris and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. And it was that running back who gashed the Vikings a week ago Thursday.
214 total yards for Doug Martin. The 5 out of Boise State.
On third and 10.
Go right after Josh Robinson, the right corner there, left corner.
There's a flag, and the ball is out. There's a whistle.
Offside. Defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty. Replay third down.
Brian Robinson called for the offside.
Tell you why I'd go right after Josh Robinson. The play for the rookie corner, the play right before that last one, the penalty, the Marshawn Lynch play out to the perimeter. He just absolutely ran over Robinson, who was shook up on the play but didn't go off the field.
from the 38 of Minnesota. It's 3rd and 5. Max Unger went to the locker room. Wilson's throw is high, but hauled in, hit hard. Golden Tate held on. Antoine Winfield with a tough hit, but good enough for a first down.
Golden Tate has been acrobatic today in terms of getting up in the air and making terrific catches. Watch this catch and then listen to this hit.
The 32-yard line of the Vikings, an impressive drive. Seattle protecting a 3-point lead after a blocked extra point.
See if they take a shot to Sidney Rice down here at the bottom. One-on-one on Winfield.
Marshawn Lynch carries. There goes Marshawn Lynch. Inside the 10 of the Vikings.
All right.
A 23-yard run.
Let's focus right here on Jean-Pierre, center, out there for Max Unger. And let's say his block on Fred Evans, which is really the key block. I mean, he is able to get him hooked. His left guard, McQuiston, is able to get a nice block. And a huge hole for Marshawn Lynch.
1st and goal for Seattle. Swarm of Vikings. They said they had to get to the football to bring Marshawn Lynch down, who has 89 yards rushing on 14 carries today. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 6. Golden Tate has a touchdown down here. Sidney Rice, a touchdown toss.
I'm telling you, I'm sniffing the fade to Sidney Rice to the right side of the formation. Matched up on one of those corners. Now he's up at the top. Right there.
Golden Tate at the
and he's
bottom.
got double coverage on him. I would expect the ball's going somewhere else.
There's a flag. Russell Wilson will run and not get in. Jamarcus Sanford delivering the hit. Mistrail Raymond.
Outside. Defense, number 97. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, 2nd down.
It's on Minnesota's Everson Griffin.
And the one just a few plays ago was on Robinson there, 96. Some self-inflicted wounds for this Vikings defense. Hurting themselves with really pre-snap penalties.
And missing Raymond, who has been out the last 5 weeks at the safety spot with an ankle practice. Leslie Frazier says he'll be back next week. Meanwhile, Max Unger with a hand injury in the locker room for Seattle. From the 3, Marshawn Lynch. Touchdown. His 4th touchdown of the year, a 3-yard run. And with an extra point, Seattle could have a 10-point advantage. Last one was blocked by Kevin Williams of the Vikings. Low, but it got through. 72-yard drive. 9 plays. And Marshawn Lynch is over 90 yards in the end zone for the Seahawks, who lead by 10. Percy Harvin working on that hamstring that's been bothersome, but maybe not as much as the Seattle defense. He only has 2 catches today. Lost a fumble running it. Hauschka to kick off. That's why Harvin is not returning kicks. It's Marcus Sherrills for the Vikings. To the 20-yard line, where Minnesota will take over on offense. Christian Ponder going to have to get it going against Pete Carroll's defense. Vikings trail by 10. College football on Fox on Saturday. It's a doubleheader. Hey, Buckner, we got a good one. Oregon State and Stanford, and then Kansas State. Very impressive national title hopes on the line. They go up against TCU. Coverage 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific on Fox.
Here's the touchdown, and look, I'm telling you, they stunted themselves, that being Minnesota, right out of an opportunity to make this play. Harrison Smith has a chance up inside, doesn't wrap up. Not a good call defensively. And outfought themselves there.
Adrian Peterson gets the Vikings right back in it. There he goes. All the way up across the 45-yard line. Bobby Wagner ran him down. Christian Ponder has 53 yards passing. Peterson has nearly 170 yards on the ground.
And more missed tackles, and it starts to the left where Adrian Peterson likes to go, and then watch him cut back right there as he just sees a crease, and Matt Khalil got up on the linebacker. Once he got to the second level, no chance to get Adrian Peterson before he hits you for 15 plus.
Percy Harvin in at running back and takes the pitch, and Seattle drops him. Earl Thomas made the tackle, and Harvin, that hamstring is in
he's
pain.
clinching his ankle is what he's clinching, Chris. He's reaching down at his left ankle, it looked like.
Adrian Peterson had a 28-yard run to set up the Vikings. But Harvin, after a 3-yard loss, is hurting. There is also a penalty flag down on the play.
Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 39. Unnecessary contact if a player not involved in a play. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, automatic, first down.
Call on Brandon Browner, the 6'4" corner, part of the tallest secondary or corners in NFL history.
Here's the injury here, is you're going to see Wagner from behind, Earl Thomas in front, and it just looked like as Bobby Wagner came down, something on the left ankle, lower left leg for Percy Harvin, who's clutching at it right away.
He missed time this week for personal
reasons. Right there. Chris, it was Earl Thomas who put his shoulder pad through his left leg. Did you see the knee and ankle hyperextend on Percy Harvin? That was where the damage was done.
Well, there's a lot going on. The head bone connected to the neck bone, and whether you got a hamstring or an ankle, you're beat up, and he is beat up. But he missed time this week for personal reasons. It was a family matter. Leslie Frazier did the knock on wood thing when we said, hey, no migraines this year for Harvin so far. He said, thank goodness. But having to battle a lot more. He came in, remember, tied for the lead in receptions in the NFL. And there's only 2 catches today.
No, this would be a huge loss, not just today, but if it extends into other games. Because what else do they have offensively in the passing game, really, other than Percy Harvin at this point?
The personal foul on Brandon Browner, number 39 and number 75. What? Kind of a nitpick call.
Yeah.
From the Seattle 41. It's getting loud in here. Ponder's throw caught by Rhett Ellison, who gets down to the 36. Ellison, the backup tight end from USC.
You know, his pop's the great Ricky Ellison at USC, and then a terrific pro linebacker.
On second down 6, Michael Jenkins is in with Devin Aromashodu at receiver, and Peterson the back with Harvin out of the picture. Peterson spins but can't get away from the ankle tackle of Earl Thomas.
Well, that's the old Trojan tackle. As Pete Carroll said when he came here from USC, we got to tackle like Trojans, which means you got to grab and roll, especially with these big-time running backs and Adrian Peterson right at the top of the list. You saw Earl Thomas do just that. He got that leg and just started twisting like an alligator.
From the 37, it's 3rd and 6. Pressure. Ponder, not good.
I think he had Bruce Irvin right at his feet, down on his knees.
And he's limping.
Well, he came into the game with a bad knee. You can see he's got the sleeve on the right knee. But Irvin was hitting him low just as he was trying to unload and deliver the football.
A 55-yard field goal try. Blair Walsh, the rookie kicker, was hitting from 55 in practice. His season-long career log, good from 55. Chris Cloughy, the holder. The kick is good. 55 yards. And more kickers beyond 50 yards are delivering in the NFL. Pete's upset about something. The heel has ran out on the field.
He is screaming at the back judge.
Meanwhile, Walsh is 5 of 5 from 50 yards or beyond. Looked like he was hollering about the play clock.
Now let's watch it right here, the play clock. See if it gets 0 before that ball is snapped. Absolutely. And that's a legitimate gripe from the head coach, Pete Carroll.
Game clock not reviewable, not challengeable.
Well, you can see double zeros already, Chris, before that ball has even started to be snapped.
Unless it's part of a play challenge for some other reason. But the 55-yarder is good. A little bit of a breeze picking up, but no rain so far today in Seattle.
And that is, and listen, that is a legitimate gripe by Pete Carroll, because if that is called as it should have been, it goes back 5 yards. Now it's a 60-yarder. Who knows if they even go for it?
It's history now as Walsh lines this into the end zone. Leon Washington has it. And he's knocked down across the 15-yard line. Two teams fighting for turf in the NFC. The accuracy in the National Football League, whether it's Greg Zuerlein with the Rams, Blair Walsh here, the rookie kickers, each decade, going back to the history of Tom Dempsey when he made that 63-yarder. Look how 50 or beyond. It's incredible. Currently it's 67%. And Dempsey, with seconds remaining, beat the Detroit Lions on this kick, which at the time people thought was an unattainable record. It's been equaled since. Marshawn Lynch carries. Fights hard to get up to the 24-yard line. Marshawn Lynch nearing the 100-yard mark. He just went over it on his 16th carry. So we mentioned the top two running backs coming in. Peterson 170 yards and 2 scores. Lynch 101 yards and a touchdown.
And that's a good day for Marshawn Lynch, but in comparison to what Adrian Peterson has done at over 10 yards a carry, of course, that 74-yard explosion to start the game is the difference. But both of them doing very good with yards after contact and breaking tackles.
Robert Turbin checks in on 2nd and 1. He gets the football and he gets the first down. Let's get a game break. Check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt, what's going on?
Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have it going on right now. They've won 2 of their last 3, and today in Oakland, after a good run, Mike Williams with a touchdown reception from Josh Freeman. They lead at 21-10 in the 3rd quarter. Freeman, 2 touchdown passes already in this game. Chris, Tim?
Thanks, Kurt, with Greg Schiano. One of those teams, the Bucs, that seem like they will be getting better as the season wears on.
I'll tell you, I got a lot of respect for Greg Schiano and what he's done with that football team, despite some of the significant losses and injuries they've had defensively on the back end.
Robert Turbin carries, the rookie from Utah State, drafted in the 4th round, and there's a flag down. 17 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
During the play, illegal use of hands. Defense, number 98. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
LaTroy Guion called for the penalty. Meanwhile, Percy Harvin, an ankle injury, questionable return, which certainly will have an impact on that Viking offense.
Well, things are going to get harder for Christian Ponder. He has got to find something in the passing game. As good as the running game has been for Minnesota, Seattle is committing an extra guy up into the run box, which should make really the coverages transparent and easy to diagnose for Christian Ponder. Down 7 here, Chris. He's got to get it figured out here in the fourth quarter. He's got 57 yards passing in this game. That's not going to cut it.
He'll play hurt. His last game as a college player had a bad ankle and starred in that game as the clock will run down here from the 37-yard line. Seattle will get a fresh set of downs. And it's a one-score game. Seahawks, Vikings. And at the end of 3 quarters, 27-20 Seattle leading. We're glad you're watching the NFL on Fox from Seattle, Washington. Tim Ryan, Jimmy Maggio on the field, Chris Myers. This is a Mike Burks production directed by Michael Frank. Our broadcast associate, Seattle's own Alex Strand. Glad you're all enjoying, as we are, the NFL on Fox from Seattle. To start the fourth quarter from the 37. Robert turned on the back, low snap, and Russell Wilson has it and completes it midfield to Sidney Rice for a Seahawk first down.
Watch this ball come out on time, right outside the linebacker, Chad Greenway. You're going to see him. He just flashed into your screen underneath. Right there, Russell Wilson just unloading it quick versus that off coverage. You just see the accuracy. Great ball location down at the belt buckle when only your wideout can go get it.
A 13-yard gain. Pass for Golden Tate goes through his hands. Russell Wilson is 13 out of 19. 128 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns and no turnovers.
I don't think you can say it enough times and even be redundant about his composure and poise as an NFL quarterback. And he almost makes situations look easy. And Chris, I think playing NFL quarterback of any sport, guys, I think it's the hardest job out there. Russell Wilson makes it look simple, at least the look on his face.
On 2nd and 11. Open a little bit high and incomplete for the 5'10 Golden Tate. It'll be 3rd down. You can call ** NFL to download NFL mobile right now and get coverage of every NFL game. That's ** NFL. 3rd and 11. The Viking defense needs a stop. They're trailing by 7.
We got Max Unger back in at center. That's great news. There he is for the Seattle Seahawks.
Playing with an injured hand. Romuald Jean-Pierre led them to a touchdown from that spot. Held his own. Incomplete for Doug Baldwin. Russell Wilson wishes he had that one back.
Yeah, that was not a good throw from Russell Wilson, who got flushed by Robinson with some pretty good pressure to his right. That's one area where I think he's been really good, is those underneath, just quick throws, getting them out accurately.
John Ryan today has been super steady. Marcus Charles inside the 10 for the Vikings. Leading everybody off. Working off. Nice kick. It bounces right at the 5-yard line. And the Seahawks there to down it. A 46-yard punt. Percy Harvin, who was listed as doubtful with an ankle injury, is now back in.
And that did not look good with his left ankle and the way it got straightened out there with Earl Thomas cutting up and hitting him. Harvin may lead the league in toughness. I'm telling you, his recklessness and how he plays.
Ponder from his own goal line. Maybe picks up a yard. Levane and Clemens made sure he didn't have any room to run. In a passing league, you can get 57 yards passing in this game.
That's not good enough, and it's going to have to double here in the fourth quarter for them to pull back into this game, only being down 1 score.
Peterson. He's got a first down near the 20-yard line. They used Harvin as a decoy. Let's get a game break. Check in again with Kurt Menefee.
Well, we'll take the two running backs in your game and raise them one. Doug Martin doing it again. You mentioned 214 total yards against the Vikings. This 67-yard touchdown run, part of 174 rushing and 195 total he's got. 28-10 right now, Tampa on top. And there's still 2 minutes plus left in the third quarter, Chris and Chip.
Thanks, Kurt. A tremendous rookie. After the 12-yard gain, it's first down. Ponder completes to Peterson. Adrian Peterson has 182 yards rushing in this game as Ponder gets up limping.
Oh, they are just teeing off on Christian Ponder now. This defensive line, whether it's Brandon Mebane, whether it's the defensive ends and Chris Clemens and Bruce Irvin, they are getting heat on the quarterback. Their Mebane coming around the backside, or the front side, excuse me, is kind of a secondary contained guy. Lowers the boom on Ponder.
Incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 5. In case you're wondering, as Harvin is toughing it out, but not moving rather smoothly. Peterson does have 2 200-yard games in his career.
And let me tell all the viewers, Seattle was number 5 in the NFL in run defense coming into this game, giving up only 3.7 a carry. Today, 10.7 with Adrian Peterson.
Fourth down. And just in case Viking fans are wondering, Joe Webb is the backup quarterback.
A little bit of me surprised. We haven't even, and I know he hasn't come in and played quarterback, but seen that Blazer package where he comes in kind of as the Wildcat guy.
Chris Kluwe back to punt.
Heck, we did the Redskin game last year. Remember at the end of the season, Joe Webb was terrific.
Throwing and running.
Yep.
Leon Washington. And a fair catch up at the 40. Called for by Golden Tate, the up man. Under 12 to go. Seattle by 7. There was a slight chance of showers later in the day, and here they come in Seattle.
And for everybody that's been spoiled with high definition and all that, that's the kind of TV we watched when we were kids. Remember that?
Yeah, you had a coat hanger as an antenna, and the remote you had to get up and turn the channel. No remote control. Marshawn Lynch from the 40 to back. He gets the carry. And grabbing him from behind was Jared Allen. He just wouldn't let him go. Vikings do not have a sack today. Got the jersey and he just wouldn't let him loose.
And here's Jared here, and he comes just inside Russell Okung and just basically takes out the fullback, Michael Robinson, then unable to grab the jersey of Marshawn Lynch and rip him to the ground.
Negative yardage takes him below 100. 2nd and 13.
These guys have got to force a turnover. Big problem all year for the Minnesota defense.
Set up a screen to Lynch, who has room to run. There goes Marshawn Lynch. Inside the 40 of Minnesota. A 23-yard gain.
Let's watch Lynch and how many times guys have opportunities to get him down. Nobody touches him there. There's one. There's two. And finally, the third guy gets him down. Look at the vision just to cut right back here against the grain. Pick up about an extra 15 yards.
From the 40 of the Vikings, 1st and 10 Seahawks. Lynch the carry. Falls forward. Jared Allen wrapped him up, but he gained on that one. Already in the NFC North.
Nobody's going to block Jared Allen here. He just reads the down block. And that's really his job. Even in, that same ride zone play that they used earlier where Russell Wilson actually kept it. That time Chad Greenway was ready for the quarterback, and Jarrett squeezed like he should and made the tackle.
In the Viking division, the Bears have won. The Packers have won today. Marshawn Lynch carries. The Lions have won. Look at that. Workhorse.
Thus the name, the Beast. And there it is, beast mode right there. Harrison Smith's got a shot at him. The rookie safety, 22, absolutely no wrap right there. And now he's running over Jasper Brinkley. He's pulling Chad Greenway, and it takes about 4 other Vikings before he goes down. We always talk about him being that split-legged runner. Look at the wide base as he keeps his feet spread out and keeps his power base on his foundation. Like 6 guys to finally get him down.
Russell Wilson completes to Michael Robinson out of the 16-yard line.
I'll tell you, I think Minnesota is really thinking too much. And once the linebacker here down, Brinkley down, and nobody out here. Chad Greenway certainly can't get to him. Nobody out there for Michael Robinson. And I think sometimes when you're reeling on defense, and Minnesota certainly has over the last 3 games, you start trying to do too much, Chris. You stop trusting the guy next to you. That's when you get in trouble. Football is the ultimate team sport.
Marked at the 15. And this time, Lynch just thrown for a loss. Kevin Williams, who blocked an extra point earlier, in on the play. But over 100 yards for Lynch today. 8 minutes to go here in regulation. Seahawks trying to get to 5-4. Vikings come in at 5-3.
Would you like to see Big 93 coming at you? Massive.
Green 80. Green 80.
Wilson is going to go out, and the Vikings get a sack. And it's who you'd expect. Robinson and Allen.
And Russell Wilson looks like he got tweaked up a little bit. He got up limping.
It's slick on that surface.
The Sunday afternoon meeting at the quarterback. Left end Robinson, right end Jared Allen. Oh yeah, you can't try to one-timer and put your running back on Jared Allen in protection. No chance. As Robinson just runs around Giacomini over on the left side.
Allen came in with 7 sacks. Robinson came in with 4. Now a 3rd and 22. Seahawks want to at least get 3 out of this to fatten the lead. And Pete Carroll
Timeout, Seattle. They're second.
wants a timeout. They will have 1 remaining. Seattle has the lead and the football. The sun has come out here in the 4th quarter. It would be a 45-yard field goal if they get nothing on 3rd down.
I think this ball is going to come out relatively quick, not even risking a sack and negative yardage. They just hand it off. There it is.
That's Marshawn Lynch, who leaps forward and gets down inside the 23-yard line as the clock continues to run.
And that makes a lot of sense to me. And that's a good call by Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator. Why get back there and drop Russell Wilson back on a 5 or a 7-step drop, risk getting a sack, and then pushing your field goal opportunity back another 10 or 12 yards?
You want to make it a 2-score game.
That's right.
This will be a 40-yard try for Stephen Hauschka. Has had an extra point blocked. He's made a 52-yarder this season. His career-long 54, so well within his range.
Kevin Williams blocked an extra point earlier right up the middle.
And this one is good. Russell Wilson widens the Seattle lead.
There's Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator. Let's remember last week it was a 16-play drive at the end for Detroit, and the defense for Seattle couldn't hold up. But here's the difference. That was Matthew Stafford that threw for 352. Mission now stop Adrian Peterson.
2-score game here as Harvin watches the ball go through. So Christian Ponder, who has not been effective at all, he has not looked comfortable, will take over at the 20-yard line.
Well, the defensive line, in my opinion, has really started to control this game in terms of the passing game for Christian Ponder. And on top of that, I got to tell you, especially since Percy Harvin hurt his ankle earlier here in the second half, there's not a lot of wide receivers or tight ends open down the field for Christian Ponder.
Adrian Peterson is the Vikings' leading receiver with 3 catches.
I don't know how Percy Harvin can be effective unless he's just trying to lull us all to sleep with that big limp.
Going deep and overthrown off the hands of Earl Thomas, who could have had an interception. Christian Ponder, this is his 19th NFL game. He has 2 fourth-quarter comebacks.
And that's a bad read from the quarterback, Christian Ponder, to go to his left, because Percy Harvin, who you see in the slot there, is going to go across the formation. He's going to end up one-on-one with the other corner, Richard Sherman, who's trying to pick him up. And Ponder threw right into double coverage. Lucky it wasn't picked.
Harvin may be a decoy as Joe Webb looks on. Time for Christian Ponder, who holds onto the ball getting across the 26-yard line. Chris Clemens taking a swat at it. It'll be 3rd down for the Vikings at the 6-minute mark.
There's just nobody open down the field. There is no separation. Here's Jerome Simpson out here on Brandon Browner. He'll be right in the trail position there, running from behind him. There's another look at it. Percy Harvin, you see covered like a glove from Richard Sherman.
Intercepted by Brandon Browner. It was a feeble attempt by Ponder, and Browner comes up with his 3rd interception this season.
It would have been no good anyway, because Percy Harvin is out of bounds. He's out of bounds right there. He can't even be the first guy to come back in and catch it. You see him there on the white line, and it looked like Browner was the receiver running the route. And right there, he's ineligible. Right when he steps out of bounds. The only way you can come back in and be the first guy to catch the ball is if you get fouled out of bounds.
2nd turnover of the game for Minnesota. A lost fumble by Hartman earlier.
What I mean by that is either an illegal contact or a hold throws you out of bounds. Then you can be the first guy to come back in, reestablish and catch it. Otherwise, it's a no-go.
47-yard line at Seattle. Robert Turbin in at running back. He gets the football into Viking territory and all the way down to the Minnesota 40. The Vikings are watching this slip through their fingers.
We all know. Look at the arms on that guy. Look at the arms on Robert Turbin. We all remember Thomas Jones with those big old arms. Michael Pittman with those big arms for a running back. This guy Robert Turbin puts them both to shame. Those are some pipes. Looks like you when you got out of the weight room yesterday, Chris.
What does a weight room look like?
They have a computer in there. You can go in there and do some work.
As long as you're right. I thought you'd wait around. Inside handoff, there's a computer. That's Michael Robinson. And the Seahawks are going to try and milk the clock and stay undefeated here at home. Time running out on the Vikings. They scored first, and what an effort in this game from Adrian Peterson. 182 yards, a couple of touchdowns, but not much from the quarterback position for Minnesota.
And I'll tell you, the halftime adjustments for Seattle to come up and really shore things up in terms of the run game of the second half. And there's been a couple of nice runs, but nothing consistent. Heck, Minnesota's probably got 50, 60 yards offense here in the second half of this game.
And Marshawn Lynch over 100 yards getting a rest as Russell Wilson is going to keep. And wisely slide and stay in to let the clock run.
Unbelievable. Russell Wilson challenging the line of scrimmage as a runner, but always being a thrower. You don't know what to do. Watch this pump fake and how he sells it to Chad Greenway. Oh, right there, gets him up in the air, tucks it down, and takes off.
A 14-yard run. He's run it 6 times today for 28 yards. It'll be 3rd and 1.
And that's pretty common for Russell Wilson. He's going to give you 4 or 5 of those runs per game from the quarterback position.
Marshawn Lynch checks back in. Russell keeps it.
I don't think he got this.
Wilson falling forward. The yellow line there just to kind of give you an indication, but this would be a 49 or 50-yard field goal depending on the spot. If they do not get the first down and opt to go,
might be the worst call of the day for Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, who's had a terrific day calling plays. I'd have turned and handed it to the beast, Marshawn Lynch.
And I don't know if you even try a field goal here, Tim, if it is 4th down.
Not in a 10-point game, no.
Sidney Rice hugging one of his former teammates, Aaron Henderson, down there.
I think if I know Pete Carroll, you do anything, you don't get it. You go for it here on 4th down.
Well, that's how much they need for a first down with just over 3 minutes to play.
When you think about it, if you punt it and John Ryan kicks it into the end zone, it goes to the 20. It's only 11 yards. You might as well just go for it on offense. The risk is worth the reward.
That's what they're going to do, or at least attempt to. You never know if they can draw an offside. There's Darrell Bevell, the one-time Viking offensive coordinator. Minnesota with 2 timeouts remaining. They're going to use one here. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break. Kurt.
And how about more Doug Martin, the rookie out of Boise State. What a day. 18 carries, 244 yards, and this 70-yard score, his 3rd touchdown of the game. Tampa Bay rolling against the Raiders, 35-17 early in the 4th quarter. Chris and Tim.
I'll tell you, shocking, especially since they lost Carl Nix, their big Pro Bowl left guard. Remember when Mark Dominic made that draft selection? A lot of people thought they should have taken David Wilson, the running back, or one way or the other. And whether it was he or Wilson who ended up with the Giants, that was clearly the right guy.
4th and 1 here for Seattle. Wilson, who kept the last time. There's a pile up.
Look at Moffitt's helmet laying back there.
Seen a few.
He's not even going to retrieve it.
Seen a few plays. Don't want to mess his hair up.
That's some hair.
There's been a few plays where the helmets come flying off today. They're just showing the flip
it back.
We were asking Sidney Rice about his hairstyle, and he said he hadn't had a haircut in 7 years. The measurement here, if it is short, the Vikings take over with 2 timeouts and just over 3 minutes to play. Minnesota trailing by 10. The crowd in tune with its team. Pete goes on 4th. They can try and close out the Vikings with his offense controlling the clock. They have a timeout, Minnesota. So the Vikings will have 1 timeout remaining. Tonight on Fox, the most animated night on TV is back. Don't miss Animation Domination, all new episodes. The Cleveland Show, The Simpsons, Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, and American Dad. All new episodes. Animation Domination, they're back. 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central on Fox. Viking fans who traveled up. A little fashion war going on with some of the Seattle fans who are always entertaining. Fresh set of downs for Russell Wilson and the Seahawks.
Rico.
Marshawn Lynch carries. Still fighting hard. Minnesota going to use their last timeout as we get close to the 2-minute warning. Adrian Peterson, an impressive day. Talk about being the heart and soul of your team. But not enough to win, and that's what he said. I'll outrush Marshawn Lynch, but I want to win first.
That's exactly what he said, Chris. Mission number 1, always get the victory. Now, mission 2 is, outrun him. Mission 2 accomplished. Mission 1's not looking good.
The Vikings have the Lions coming up next, then a bye week, and then they're at Chicago and at Green Bay, and then home against the Bears. So they're going to run into their division opponents.
And look, on the road, 5 of their last 7 games are on the road. We know they've been a different team for the most part. Now 1-3 if they lose this one on the road. They're a much different team there in the Dome in Minnesota.
But still ahead of schedule compared to where they have been the last couple of years under Leslie Frazier. Lynch will carry and get near another Seattle first down. Stopping the running game, which Minnesota has had problems with in the last few, continues.
And Marshawn Lynch is going to get a lot of credit, and as he's well deserving. But watch the right side of this line and watch all the white jerseys that are going backwards. And they're just going to look at all the white jerseys. Look at Kevin Williams is on roller skates. Jamarcus Sanford, the safety, has got a big offensive lineman, Giacomini, in his face. He's on roller skates. Get Tom Cable and the offensive line coach and all of these guys. They've had their share of injuries. There's Tommy Cable there. They've had a nice year blocking for Lynch.
James Carpenter
Timeout, Seattle.
out with concussion. Like symptoms didn't play today. The NFC North, we mentioned that the Bears put up 51 to beat Tennessee. The Packers put up 31 to beat the Cardinals today. And Detroit put up 31 to beat Jacksonville. So those are the standings till the moment pending the Viking game. And again, the Lions and the Vikings will meet next week.
They've already beat the Lions, that being Minnesota. So they're 1-0 in the division. Got 5 left. You just figured it was a matter of time before Detroit offensively started to catch fire with Matthew Stafford.
We thank the staffs, Dave Pearson of Seattle, Bob Hagan of Minnesota, and Tom West of the Vikings public relations staff. His wife Shara, they had the first baby, a baby girl, so everybody's happy and healthy.
Congratulations, Tommy.
Jared Allen, who told you the defense was embarrassed with what happened 10 days ago against Tampa. He's not going to be happy about what the Seahawks did to Minnesota here. Lynch will take us to the 2-minute warning. The Seahawks leading the Vikings by 10 with 2 minutes remaining here in Seattle. NFL's leading rusher running to the tunes of Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam. That is not Eddie Vedder, but taking in the game here in Seattle. 182 yards and 2 touchdowns for Adrian Peterson in what appears to be a losing effort.
Yeah, I haven't said that, Chris. He's still the best player on the field today, obviously.
Vikings out of timeouts as Marshawn Lynch slips an ankle tackle and goes out of bounds. He should have stayed inbounds, trying to work that clock down. Seattle now goes to 5-4 as the Vikings will fall to 5-4. Pete Carroll already beat the Patriots here. We'll get the Jets here and then a bye. And then on the road at Miami and Chicago. But what's interesting, Tim, further in their schedule, they end the season. 3 of their 4 games are at home and against the NFC West.
Yeah, and the challenge is going to be for them. And when you look at where San Francisco is record-wise, winning the division, I think wild card, and still early, certainly within their wheelhouse, but already 0-3 in the NFC West.
315.
The last 3, though, as you said, in division will be here at home.
This is Lynch fighting hard to get down near the 15-yard line. And of course, Seattle would own the tiebreaker with the Vikings. That's why we talked about this game being critical head-to-head if these two get into a wild card situation.
No question about it. You know, I was saying earlier, Adrian Peterson just a minute ago is the best player on the field. Without question. Maybe the second best player today was Russell Wilson. And his numbers not great, 15 of 23, only 167 yards. Did throw for 3 touchdowns, however. and probably had 5 or 6 drops. He was terrific for that.
Green 15. Green 15 seconds.
And a 4th down play. They want to work that clock. That's the completion made. Michael Robinson inside the 10. And looks like they're going to be able to hold the ball to the end. Producer Mike Burks, Director Mike Frank, Associate Director Brian Biederman, Broadcast Associate Alex Strand. Mark Sosna works on the truck as well. Studio show produced by Bill Richards, directed by Bob Levy. Up here, James Petralka and Emmett McGuire helping Tim and I with the stats and numbers in the booth. And an entertaining game. 2 teams that will have the same record after 9 weeks, and their bye weeks coming up soon.
I just wonder how they're going to stop Tim Tebow next week.
You know something we don't know? Russell Wilson, the 3rd-round draft pick from Wisconsin, steers his team to 5-4 with 3 touchdown passes, overcoming an outstanding performance from Adrian Peterson. Seahawks win 30-20, and we will have more from Seattle on the NFL on Fox in just a moment.